So in my last video, I was talking about my current view on spirituality and reality, and what I think about all these things, and how the path of spirituality turned me into a more realistic person, where I'm not really believing in certain things anymore. No longer really interested in those typical spiritual topics and stuff like that. If you want to know more about it, you can check out the last video. But I received a comment under that video which I find very interesting, and I want to say something about that. I'm going to read it now. The person said, "I disagree. We come into this world with a total amnesia. We have this intelligence, this awareness that we will die someday. And when we see how vicious this life is, the nature of this reality, of course humanity seeked answers to what is the meaning of life since the dawn of time. It's only natural. For all of us, deep inside us have this question and trying to come with explanations like life is just the way it is, existence doesn't owe us any explanations, etc. These are just pure copes. So because of this, the existence, at least someone owes us an explanation, because the way I see it, this world, this universe, may be a prison, hellish dimension because it has most of the requirements. Or we may be living in an extremely advanced simulation and our real avatars live in an utopia, and this game called life is just something they do for amusement or whatever." I just want to give my 2 cents. I'm not disagreeing with you. It could be. But when you say that saying life is just the way it is, existence doesn't owe us any explanations, and then you say it's just a pure cope. I don't think that's a pure cope. I think that's the absolute opposite of what a cope is. You are totally confronting the actual evidence that life gives us. It's the opposite, because a cope would be something that you would tell yourself to make life more beautiful, so that life is easier actually. But in that case, we don't do that. It's not a cope. But when you say we may be living in an extremely advanced simulation and our real avatars live in an utopia, and this game called life is just something they do for amusement or whatever. I'm not saying that this isn't true, but I'm asking, where's the evidence? Like, could you give me the evidence, please? Because if you don't have any evidence, then that's also just a belief, and that is a cope. Because you call this experience a prison, a hellish dimension. So therefore you say we have avatars that live in a utopia, and we're just living this life for amusement or whatever. Isn't that the cope? You see? It is not a cope to say it's not a cope to face what is actually being presented in front of us and say, okay, I accept that, and I'm going to make the best out of it, without trying to say, oh, we came from a different dimension, we have avatars, we are souls in a body, we are, where's the evidence? Of course you can believe it, and if you do have evidence, please tell me more about it. I'm just saying, I don't like that's just a me problem. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to blindly believe in certain statements like we come from a higher dimension. Some people just believe that, and then they feel it because they believe it so deeply, as if it's a fact. And then they live like that, and then the cope works so well that it's not even a cope anymore. To them it becomes real reality. That's the way it is to them. I don't have the ability to like live like that and just believe in certain ideas. Like, for example, Christians, they just know it's not a belief anymore. They just know that Jesus Christ saved their lives by dying on the cross. Because Jesus Christ doesn't want the people to go to hell for their sins. They totally believe that. And I unfortunately don't have the ability to believe that, because I have a mind that always questions and it wants to have something that is tangible, you know. So therefore I have no other choice but to accept reality as it is, which leads me to a belief system in which there is not much room or space for any cope. My mind forces me to like question every belief until I just come to a certain point where there is something in front of me which is actually tangible, and usually that is something that is far away from a cope, you know. So I just wanted to say something about that. And I wanted to say also thank you for all the nice comments. I didn't expect the video to have such a good resonance, actually. But yeah, alright, that's it.